Altså, ja, han er flink. Han klarer jo å si rett ut dette her er bullshit.
Det var jo Clement professordagen denne uka her. Ja, altså på baksiden av universitetet.
Så snur jeg meg på dere, og da skal vi telle ned fra 10. Og det gjør vi i kor. Og når vi er ferdig med å telle ned fra 10, så sier vi helt i kor også. Men fra 10 er det ingenting i. Og så tar vi... Ja, da gjør vi det sånn.
Hvordan vil vi stå i forhold til kamera og sånn?
Skal vi begynne?
Og da skal vi si homeopathy er det ingenting i.
Er det ingenting i?
Ja.
For med en liten bakgrunn.
En, to, tre. Nå tar du den lappen din, så er det...
Ja!
Pillene faller.
Det er ikke konsistens på de da.
Hva var det disse her... Dem, ja.
Ja.
Er det en C200-oppløsning det der?
Ja.
Du må se den i kamera.
Det er sukker rundt.
Sånn...
Det var rart.
Ja, det er ikke sukker, det er laktose. Homeopathy er det ingenting i.
Ja, ikke sant. Nå kan det gå være. Det er jo tørt.
Det er veldig tørt, da, så vi tar deg sur på noe.
Veldig tørt. Nå kan jeg ikke kjøre.
Altså, litt opp, så jeg får se alle. Opp, der. Ja, litt fram, sånn. Der. Sånn. Forfra. Der, ja.
Uniformen gjør det der virkelig ekstra bedre, altså.
Ja. Og den litt, jeg skal litt lenger opp. Ja.
Var det ny dose?
Nei, nå skal vi visst bare si det. Slagordet vårt, som vi ikke klarte å si så bra første gangen.
Mer vellykka.
Homeopathy er det ingenting i. Jeg glemte boksen.
Nå er det virkelig ingenting i disse numrene da.
So, today was the 1023 event, 2011. Trying to draw some attention to the tremendous scam that is homeopathy. I participated in the event here in Oslo. There was also one in Trondheim, so we were one of the 10 countries and 2 of the 23 cities, although it ended up being quite a lot more, fortunately. In this video you'll already have seen some images from the event in Oslo, and I just wanted to say a few words, hopefully not just to pad out the video, but also to get a little more specific and make it a little more interesting, I hope. The event is, it started in England. It is all about trying to raise awareness of homeopathy, which is more necessary in the UK than it is here in Norway, because over there the NHS actually spends money on it. I've heard the sum of £4 million per year, and that is a lot of money that would be much better spent elsewhere and is really needed elsewhere on something that really doesn't work. Because like it says here in our little flyer, a lot of people, when they hear homeopathy, they think of it as natural medicine, they think of it as being herbal medicine in some way, but the fact of homeopathy is that it not only doesn't it work, but it actually can't work. Because the whole point of homeopathy is to dilute the supposed agent of the medication to such an extent that there is really nothing left. I went to a pharmacy yesterday and bought this. This is diluted to such an extent that there is 1 part of whatever, magnesium phosphoricum or something, to 1,000,000 parts of water, if I understand it correctly. And then with lactose and rubber arabicum, it's turned into these little meaningless pills. Supposedly works against headache and God knows what. And this is actually a pretty low dilution. This is like, if you call this medication, then you must also agree that if I throw an orange into an Olympic-sized swimming pool full of water, I will have made orange juice. And I'm sure no one's gonna agree to that. And this is, like I said, it's a really low dilution. A really powerful homeopathic drug would be diluted to such an extent that it's not even like throwing an orange into the Atlantic Ocean. It's like throwing an ocean. I'm sorry, throwing an orange into the entire universe. Like 1 molecule of whatever the original agent was supposed to be, add as many molecules of water as you would need to fill the entire universe. And then you shake it about a bit, and you do some things that are actually just magic to it. And now supposedly the water remembers that whatever the agent was, magnesium phosphoricum or whatever. And that can cure you of something that has nothing to do with the agent that was originally the active ingredient. It's magical thinking, pure and simple. It's nothing else. It doesn't work. It cannot work. If you get the impression that it works, then you are, I wouldn't say a victim, I would say you're being helped by the placebo effect, but that doesn't mean that you're experiencing an actual cure for whatever ails you, unfortunately. A lot of problems that people use homeopathy for will be helped by the placebo effect, in the sense that they would just have gone away naturally anyway. So that whether you had taken your homeopathic drugs or not, you would have just gotten better anyway at some point. But of course, when you've taken these, you would give them the credit. That is not really a problem as far as regular colds go and things like that, you know, eczema and pain in the joints or whatever, things that naturally fluctuate and often get better or even completely disappear on their own. So that's not such a big deal. What is much more of a big deal is when this is used to treat real illnesses, really serious problems. You may have heard of the research that has been done in the UK, where most homeopaths would actually recommend homeopathic drugs for malaria rather than real medication that actually work. Some would even advise their patients who were actually grad students or something and going undercover trying to see what they would be advised to do. Some would actually advise them to specifically not have a malaria vaccine, but instead rely on sugar pills that contain 0% active ingredient. And to me, that is tantamount to attempted murder to send someone into a malaria zone with sugar. I find that absolutely horrible that someone would even contemplate doing that. And I wanted to make this video a little more serious than I was going to. It was just going to be some footage from the event, but I wanted to make it a little more serious because I was quite upset by what I saw when I went to get this at the pharmacy. Norwegian pharmacies also sell them. They don't all do it, but they're required to have them available, in the sense either have them in stock or be able to order them. My local pharmacy doesn't. They would have to order it for me, so I had to go downtown. And the pharmacist, he was really new. The one that I talked to, he just started working there like 3 days before, and at the pharmacy where he had worked before in a different county, they had collaborated with one specific homeopath, and he said, the pharmacist said that he hadn't been able to learn a lot about these drugs from that guy because, and I quote, he probably wanted the customers to himself. So he felt very much unable to advise me properly, and he started giving me that stupid line about how it all depends on you as a person and blah blah. It really doesn't, because it's just sugar and water. But still, that in itself is a worrying attitude. And what happened was that he gave me kind of a brochure about apparently this series of drugs, which you see here. This is number 8. And there was a whole series of like 10 different ones, and he had a brochure that he let me read to see what I should choose, what would help with my supposed problem. This is supposed to help with headaches, and I do occasionally suffer from headaches, so I didn't want to say that I was going to OD on it for an anti-homeopathy event, because I thought he might be upset and might not even let me buy it. So I, made up a line. But he showed me this brochure, let me read it, and I was really upset to see that for each of these medications, there was a whole list. Each had one page with descriptions, and there was a whole list of things that they supposedly help you with. And on the top of the list were those that they were really effective against, and then the lower down the list you got, the less effective they would be for that particular complaint, although they would still help. And like this one, it had various types of headaches on the top of the list, but others had really crazy things that they supposedly help against. And one of them, I don't remember which that was, because I didn't have time to really study the brochure. I didn't want to freak the guy out. But one of them had at the top of the list as the thing that it would be most effective against: suicidal impulses. Which I think is so horrific. This is, like I said again, has the amount of active ingredient literally to the point of an orange in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. And you would give that to someone who is actually considering suicide, and you would think that you're helping? If I didn't think already that this is something that we really need to fight against, this is something we need to stop, then I was convinced then and there that this is not just a scam, this is a malicious, cruel scam that really needs to be stopped. And before anyone says that we need more research, please notice that, go and read something online about this, because homeopathy is more than 200 years old and research has been ongoing for almost that entire time. So on some alt-med methods we may need more research, but homeopathy has been researched for 200 years and it simply doesn't work. No serious research for 200 years has ever been able to find any actual effect. It's all placebo. It doesn't work, and it cannot work because there are no active ingredients, and it goes against everything we know about physics, about chemistry, about biology. It doesn't work. Magic doesn't exist, and water has no memory, and this is just sugar. And if you have anything seriously wrong with you, you need the help of a real doctor. This doesn't work, and we need to realize that at some point further research is not needed. We need to accept that at some point there is nothing to be found and close it down and move on. And homeopathy, it doesn't work. It's a scam. It's dangerous. There's nothing in it. There's absolutely nothing in it. And if you have suicidal impulses, then sugar pills is the very last thing that you need. Please educate yourselves about homeopathy. There is nothing in it.